Hi everybody, my name is Sheree. I work in youth outreach at the Monroe County Library System, and Marcia's asked me to film some book talks for you guys about great and amazing YA books. I think I'm the only person in the world who can talk faster than her, so I'm determined to do 10 books in 10 minutes. So I want to start with, first of all, Dreadnation. I don't know how much you can see the cover of this book. It is a young African-American woman. She appears to be dressed as a Confederate soldier, and in fact, this book takes place during the Civil War. She is born just a couple of days before the order comes out that she needs to be part of the training to put down the dead, because the dead have begun to walk during battles of the Civil War. So you have a war going on. You also have zombies. You have this mysterious, born a few days ago creature who is now in charge of figuring out how to take care of the dead in this situation. The second book just came out. It's called Deathless Divide. There's nothing I love better than saying, here's an amazing book. Zombies, Civil War, girl power, battles. And you don't have to wait for the second one. Deathless Divide is already out there. So if you're looking for something a little historic, that's also a little gruesome, there you go. Everything I'm talking about pretty much today is dark. Let's talk about Monster Calls. I don't really read a lot of fantasy, and I don't book talk them very often because fantasy fans can always find what they're looking for. But this is one that has elements of fantasy. If you saw the movie, forget about it. Doesn't count. Excuse me. Monster Calls is the story of Connor, who is being haunted by terrible visions in his dreams. Darkness and monsters are coming for him. And while he struggles to figure out what it means and what's real and what's not, he begins to understand why the monsters are coming to him in the night. I also want to talk about The Edge of Everything. A little creepy, super exciting. Again, that bit of fantasy element. This book has everything in it. It's about the underworld, and the underworld has, what do they call them? Bounty hunters. Bounty hunters come up from the underworld, let's face it, which is hell, and come up into this world and bring back the souls of those who are going to spend eternity in the underworld. When X comes into this world, he accidentally comes upon Zoe, who is being threatened, she and her younger brother, by a mysterious man. And when X interferes to save them, he now has made himself known to a mortal whose soul he is not to return, and that's against the worst, all the laws of the underworld. He's sucked back down under, and he is tortured violently. I almost couldn't handle it, good luck. But his only desire is to return to Zoe, and finally they say, all right, we'll let you go back, but you have to bring us, and look at the edge of this, can you see that? One more soul. You put that on the edge of the book, I'm in. The soul that you think he has to bring back is not who it is. It's someone completely different, and that takes the story in a very creepy way. There's action, there is adventure. It was a nail biter. There is now a sequel to it as well, so they'll get that one. Let's talk briefly about mental illness, mental health. We're all talking about it. We're all struggling with it to some degree. The times are very strange. These are two stories that might help you understand yourself or someone you care about, or simply open up a great story to you. This is All the Bright Places. It is the story of a boy called Finch and a girl called Violet. Finch is sort of overwhelmed with and thinks often of his own death. He has considered committing suicide. He thinks of ways he might die, but there's always something that keeps him alive. When he meets Violet, she too is in a very precarious place, and it's unclear who saves who. But after they get together and they befriend each other, excuse me, Violet's life starts to grow. She begins to experience more comfort with the world. She can reach out more, and Finch becomes more and more isolated, and it's about how they try to support each other. This is Every Last Word, the story of Samantha McAllister. She's cute. She's smart, she does well in school, she has friends, but she alone knows that she suffers from OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. And when she is in a period of strong disorder, she must do certain rituals and have certain things happen in order to feel okay. When she's in the midst of one of those episodes, she finds a friend who takes her to a secret poetry club within school. They meet in the basement. They talk about their experiences. It's a lot of spoken word, and she finally feels like there's a home, and a home where she can tell her story. When you find out what's really going on with Poetry Club, interesting twist. I want to mention, I have 3 books in front here, each having to do with a sports theme. This is heroine, but you see that that word keeps changing from heroine to hero to her, and finally to H. This is the story of, what is her name? Mickey. Mickey is a softball player. She's really, really good. And when she gets injured in a game, she is prescribed opiate painkillers for a very limited time. What she finds out is that they help her feel no pain, so then instead of waiting till she's allowed to go back and play again, she starts working out and practicing and realizes that she needs the pills in order to be able to play. And soon the pills become all she can think about and consume her life in ways she never saw coming. So the second one in the sports trilogy that I wanted to bring today was A Heart in a Body in the World. I always get the title wrong. This is about a girl named Annabelle who is a runner. And she goes out for a run one day intending to just get a couple of miles in, but clearly something is on her mind and she goes further. And she goes further and further, and the next thing you know, she's decided she's going to run across the country. She's running away from something. You don't know what it is. You get dribs and drabs of what's happening. She's got to work out a deal with her mom. Her mom says, okay, you can try this, but your grandpa's going to follow you in an RV, so you have a place to sleep at night. As every day goes by, you learn a little bit more about why Annabelle is out there on the road. And I have to tell you, the details about her run, I could feel the stress, the pain, her desire to keep going. It's an amazing, amazing book written by Deb Coletti. Third in the sports series that I wanted to mention is Game Changer. This book blew my mind. So Game Changer is about a local football team, and the tradition is that the freshmen get to do one final practice with the varsity team. During that practice, one of the kids is injured and hospitalized and is in a coma. So the book starts out with that incident, and then I don't know how much of this you can see, but in verse, in text messages, so if you're looking for kind of a different format, this one goes really easily. There's some conversation in here. People start to talk about what happened, and the story starts to change from it was a random accident to there were a few more things going on. And it really gets at the heart of that idea of how loyal are you to your team, how dangerous can sports, particularly football, be, and what kind of responsibility you have to speak out. It reads really fast, and it gives you a lot to think about. Everything I talked about today was kind of dark, so I got to end up with something fun, which is Frankly in Love. I don't know if you can see this, but even the cover looks different. It's bright, it's cool. And Frankly in Love is the story of Frank Yoon. He's a Korean American, and his parents are determined that he is only going to date and ultimately marry Korean girls. So they fix him up with one of their friend's daughters. Now, the thing is, he already likes an Anglo girl, and she already likes another kid at school. So the two Korean American kids decide they'll tell their parents that they're dating, and that'll be the cover for them to date who they really want to date. So there's a lot of funny stuff in here. There's a great love story, but there's also a lot of commentary about what happens when your parents' idea for you is not your idea for you. Incredible book written by David Yoon. He's a new author. I think we're going to hear a lot from him. Thanks so much, you guys. I hope you find something here that you want to read, be it dark, light, meaningful. Enjoy. Bye.